welcome to another episode of Art Together. In this episode, we will continue learning about color. We're going to learn about hue and shade and tint. And then after that, we'll learn something about complementary colors. We're going to be making a couple cool art projects, and I can't wait to get started and spend this time with you. Well, as you know, I can't do art without my trusty sidekick, Wally. Where is Wally? Where is that scoundrel? Let's go find him, and then we can get started. Wally, it's time to leave your kitty cat and go make some art. Let's talk about hue and tint and shade. This is my hue, which is another name for color, and it is red. If I want to make a tint, I took white and I mixed it with red, and it turned out a pink tint. If I want to make a shade, I took some red and I mixed it with a little bit of black, and it made a darker shade of red. Here is the hue. Here is the tint. And here is the shade. So we have hue, tint, which is lighter, and shade, which is darker. We're going to be making an art project with stencils using hue, tint, and shade. So to make a stencil, you need to cut out whatever shape that you're going to do. And this one I am using a cookie cutter, and I'll trace around it. Heart, and just simply cut it out. And there I have my stencil. You can do that with shapes that way, or sometimes there are actual stencils that you can buy, and they kind of look like this sheet here. So I've used a star before. Here's another heart, some other shapes on that. So to begin my stencil art, I've chosen pastels, which is chalk, and I've chosen the hue red, this shade, and this tint. And of course, depending on what your stencil is, your colors might be a little bit different. Just remember that your colors will be a hue, and then a lighter, and a darker. So to do a stencil, place your stencil down on the paper, trace around it, leave your stencil in place, and then with the cotton ball, you actually get to smear it. Now if you're doing this with crayons, you wouldn't be able to smear this, and oil pastels don't smear this easily either. These are just plain pastel chalk. And you lift up your stencil, and there you have the hue red with a heart. Now I'm going to take the shade and do the same thing. Cotton ball and smear it out, and it can touch the other ones and kind of blend in with that. Go to the edge of your paper. And take that off. And down here I am going to be doing the tint. So I will take my Tint pastel chalk, pink, trace around the heart, laying down the chalk on the paper. Cotton ball and smearing it out. And then you have your stencil art, which is the hue and the shade and the tint. It can also be kind of fun when you have this art project to add embellishments to it. I got these stickers at the dollar store, and all I'm going to do is put one in the center of each of my hearts. And now it looks a little bit fancier. Here's one I did with a blue hue and then with the shade and the tint. If you're going to be using crayon instead of pastels, you just do it the same way. There just won't be any smearing. So take the hue blue and just this. Have that. And then you do the next one. So I will take a tint, and it's okay for it to go into the other color. You can make these as long as you want, as short as you want. Do them different. Way to the edge. Tint of the hue blue. Now we're going to be taking a look at complementary colors, colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. In this Art Together lesson, we're going to be talking about complementary colors. So taking a look at your color wheel, complementary colors are the colors that are opposite each other in the color wheel. So red and green are complements of each other. Orange and blue are complements of each other. And yellow and purple are complements of each other. Complementary colors. For this art project, we are going to be doing a variation on a theme using complementary colors. So what we will do first is take a piece of paper and measure it into 4 equal frames. So since we're doing a variation on a theme, the theme is monsters, and the variation is that you will be drawing a different monster in each one of the frames. If you kind of get stuck with ideas about what kind of monster to draw, I do have a couple resources that you could take a look at. So just with your pencil, start drawing, and they can be very simple. A happy one. I have my 4 different monsters on my paper drawn with pencil. I decided that I am going to be doing my variation on a theme, monsters, in watercolors, but you can use crayons, you can use markers, you can use pastels, something that you have on hand at home. You can use watercolors. So in my tray, I put them out as far as the complementary colors. So we have violet and yellow, and red and green, and orange and blue. I've decided that I'm going to be doing the backgrounds first because I'm doing watercolors. I'll let that dry and then I will do the monsters second. So let's see. I think I'm going to start out with painting background yellow. So here it is with the backgrounds painted, yellow, and the monster is going to be violet, red, and the monster is going to be green, blue background, the monster is going to be orange, and then I had an extra frame here, so I'm going to be using all the colors. And so we'll see what color this monster ends up being. Now I have my monsters all painted, and I'm going to wait until the paper is completely dry. Lastly, I'm going to take a Sharpie pen and trace all of the details of my monsters. Thank you for joining me in another episode of Art Together. See you next time.